Work-from-home administrative assistant jobs sound simple on paper. Answer emails. Schedule meetings. Keep things organized. But in real life, this role is often the hidden engine behind a remote team that actually functions. Because when people aren't sharing the same office, the small stuff becomes the big stuff. A missed meeting link turns into a lost hour. An unclear handoff becomes a delayed project. An inbox that isn't triaged becomes a backlog that quietly grows until it explodes. That's why remote administrative assistants are in demand. They're the person who makes a remote workplace feel less remote. So what is a work-from-home administrative assistant really? In plain terms, you're the person who creates order. You manage schedules, keep communication flowing, handle documentation, track tasks, and make sure the right people have the right information at the right time. The work is similar to an in-office admin role, but remote work changes the game. In an office, people can walk up to your desk and ask, "Hey, did you send that?" Remote teams don't have that luxury. Everything is digital. Everything needs clarity. And everything needs a system. That's why remote admin assistants don't just do tasks. The best ones build simple workflows, templates, checklists, naming conventions, calendar rules, so things don't fall apart. Now let's talk demand, because this isn't just a nice-to-have job anymore. Remote and hybrid work didn't vanish. It evolved. And with that evolution came a bigger need for coordination. Managers are juggling more tools, more meetings, more time zones, and more moving parts. Companies are realizing that if you want speed, you need someone keeping the machine running smoothly. And here's the part many people miss. This job can be a career ladder, not a dead end. Let's talk salary expectations in 2025. Administrative assistant pay varies widely based on what you support. A general admin role might sit in a solid entry to mid-range. But the moment you're supporting executives, managing operations, or owning systems like CRMs, reporting, or onboarding, your value goes up fast. A practical way to think about it is tiers. Entry-level remote admin roles often land around the mid-30Ks to mid-40Ks. Mid-level can move into the 45K to 60K range. Senior admin or executive assistant roles can push into 60K to 85K and sometimes higher, depending on company and industry. It's not about fancy titles. It's about scope. If you own a process that saves time and prevents mistakes, employers pay for that. So what skills actually help you get hired? First, communication. Not just being friendly, but being clear. Remote work rewards people who can summarize, confirm next steps, and keep conversations moving without confusion. You'll often be the person translating messy requests into clean action. Second, tools. You don't need to be techie, but you do need to be comfortable with the basics. Google Workspace or Microsoft 365, Slack or Teams, Zoom or Meet, and some kind of project tool like Asana, Trello, or ClickUp. And depending on the company, you may touch a CRM like Salesforce or HubSpot, especially if you're supporting sales ops, recruiting, or customer success. Third, remote productivity. This is where many candidates fail. Remote admin work requires self-management. You have to prioritize, manage time, and show progress. Because invisible work is real in remote teams. If no one can see what you're doing, you need to communicate it. Now, where are these jobs actually hiring? Big, well-known companies often post remote admin, coordinator, operations support, or executive assistant roles. Think healthcare, finance, tech, consulting, and enterprise operations. The best move is to search by role keywords and filter by remote, because administrative assistant titles aren't always used, even when the job is basically admin support. Then you have the big job boards, LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, which are useful but can be noisy. That's why remote-specific boards can be a shortcut. For example, HireBasis has a dedicated page for remote administrative assistant roles, so you're not digging through unrelated postings. If you want a clean starting point, that's where I'd look first. Now let's talk about how to actually get hired, because this is where most people get stuck. You don't need the perfect resume. You need a resume that screams, I can do this remotely. That means listing tools you've used. That means bullet points that prove you can manage complexity, scheduling across time zones, documenting processes, creating templates, tracking tasks, maintaining data accuracy. And your cover letter? It doesn't need to be long. It needs to be specific. Highlight 1 or 2 systems you've managed. Explain how you stay organized. Show that you understand remote work is about clarity and follow-through. In interviews, expect questions like, how do you prioritize when everything feels urgent? How do you handle unclear instructions? Tell me about a process you improved. Those questions aren't traps. They're trying to see if you can think like an operator, not just a task finisher. Finally, let's be honest about pros and cons. Pros: flexibility, no commute, wider job market, and real career growth if you build systems and own outcomes. Cons: constant communication, the risk of being always on, and the fact that remote teams can forget how much admin work is happening until it stops. So boundaries matter. Clear response windows. Calendar blocks. Weekly check-ins. That's how you keep the job sustainable. The future of remote admin work is simple. Repetitive tasks will keep getting automated, but coordination and judgment are still human. The admin assistants who grow fastest will be the ones who become process builders, people who make teams faster, calmer, and more consistent. If that sounds like you, the next step is straightforward. Start applying consistently, sharpen your core tools, and use remote-first job boards so you're not wasting time. And if you want to explore openings right away, start with the remote administrative assistant listings on HireBasis and build momentum from there.